UFC 270 full card predictions and the betting breakdown. Looking forward to this one. Awesome main event. Francis Ngannou, Cyril Gane. Co-main, the trilogy between flyweight savages Brandon Moreno and Davison Figueiredo. Smash that like button, guys. I'd like at least 200 likes on this full card breakdown. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and turn those post notifications on too. And let's get right into it. Starting it off, it's Jack Della, Maddalena versus Pete Rodriguez. Respect to Rodriguez because he took this fight on very short notice, replacing Warley Alves, and he's fighting an absolute savage in Jack Della. Looking at the matchup, I really have to lean Della here. I do think his crispier boxing will be a factor, but we have to give Rodriguez some due respect and credit. You look at his game, he's a skilled striker. Only 4 pro bouts, so he has a big disadvantage in the experience department. But what he does bring is some serious power. All 4 wins by KO, all of them in the first round, and he has some wins under 30 seconds, so he does hit very hard. Comfortable out of both stances, and he is pretty fast. He's got some dangerous hooks. Could be a problem if Della gets a little crazy. I feel like Jack, though, very talented striker. He has a high-level boxing game for mixed martial arts, is fairly defensively sound, and his footwork is on point. I feel like in this matchup, we're going to get a striker's delight style of fight. I think it's very entertaining, and I think that Jack Della probably wins by knockout, and I'm kind of feeling second round KO for him here over Pete Rodriguez, especially Rodriguez taking it on short notice. You're a regional scene guy, you have to take the opportunity that's presented. Only 4 pro bouts. We'll see what Rodriguez can do. I think bright future most likely for him here, but this is a serious test, and I do expect it to be too much of a test too soon for him. Looking at the odds here for this matchup, you see that the status of favorite is obviously towards Della Mandela, and they're actually not listed here on fight odds. I guess we'll have to pull up best fight odds because we do have a late replacement bout here. Minus 190 for, that was when he was supposed to fight Warley Alves. Now, minus 290 for Della to plus 255 best value for Pete Rodriguez. I think Della does his thing, goes out there and puts it on Rodriguez in an exciting striking match. I expect Rodriguez to bring it. He knows he has a huge opportunity here, and I do expect him to go for the kill. A guy with all 4 of his wins by first round knockout, he's a fast starter. He's going to come out heavy, and it's going to be a fight. And I think because of that, Jack Della Maddalena gets the win by knockout, and I'm predicting second round in what should be a barn burner of a striking matchup between these two. Let's keep on running up. Next fight of the night, the ladies, Vanessa Demopoulos and Silvana Gómez Juárez. I have broken this fight down so many times, it feels, at this point, because we've had reschedulings for this matchup and we talked about it early. Vanessa Demopoulos is my pick. Still, nothing has changed. She's got a good Thai style of striking, a little bit square, and there's opportunities for crisp boxers to maybe take advantage. Gómez Juárez is not that girl. She has an okay jab, and she is scrappy inside with the striking, but is going to be lacking here as far as the speed and explosiveness go. I think Vanessa Demopoulos on the ground has some serious advantages. She is known for a pretty solid jiu-jitsu skill set. She lost her fight, the last one out. It was up a weight class, though, and it was against JJ Aldridge. That's at 125, though. She's at her comfortable weight class of 115 pounds here. I think she'll beat Silvana Gómez Juárez. I think it probably does end up going to the floor, and I think Demopoulos gets a submission. I'm leaning second round for her, tapping out Gómez Juárez, who has been submitted in the past and was also submitted in her UFC debut. That was obviously a difficult fight to take on Lupita Godinez, coming right in out the gate. Demopoulos should win. I expect her to, and I do think submission. The lines have Demopoulos, of course, the favorite. Best value around the minus 140 range. Gómez Juárez upwards of plus 125. I like Demopoulos for the win here. I think she's going to do good work striking. I think it potentially goes to the floor, and I think she finds a submission from there and puts on a good fight and gets herself a nice UFC victory here in the strawweight division. I just don't think Gómez Juárez at 37, I haven't been impressed by what I've seen of her so far, is going to have it for Demopoulos, who I do feel has some valuable attributes. Explosive striking, solid jiu-jitsu game. She moves fast. She's going to win here, and she's going to beat Silvana Gómez Juárez. Demopoulos for the win via submission. Let's keep on running up. The next one, and this is probably not the official order, but this is how it's listed on Tapology at the moment. Michel Pereira takes on Andre Fialho. If you remember, Fialho fought in Bellator. He was a contender there on the rise. Lost bad to Chidi and Jakawani, was knocked out in like 20 seconds. He's had some ups and downs since then, but right now is on a 4-fight winning streak. Win against James Vick started that off. That was a big upset knockout for him. He's also training over at Sanford MMA. I like Pereira to win this fight, but Fialho is a difficult matchup. He's a pretty skilled kickboxer who is known for the knockout, especially at this point, winning lots of fights in a row by KO. He does stand a bit tall, but he does have fairly sound defensive skills. I feel like, though, he's fighting a guy that Pereira being a crazy striker, insane, extremely explosive, hard to read, very unorthodox attack, also has a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt to go alongside of the striking accolades and skill set. I feel like Pereira should win. It probably will be closer than people would expect. I'm going decision win for Michel Pereira. Fialho is no slouch, though, and I do think he'll bring the fight with Pereira winning by a decision here. I would have rather have seen that Muslim Salikov last week for Pereira. Now he takes on a debuting guy. But even though Fialho's debuting, if you follow the fight game heavy, you know he's a legit threat and a good fighter. But I think Pereira goes out there and gets the win by a decision, potentially 30-27 as well. Looking at the odds for this matchup, let's see if we find them here. Minus 275 around, best value for Pereira. Fialho upwards of plus 245. Of course, Fialho will have a puncher's chance, but I don't think it's likely you're knocking out Michel Pereira. He was able to go out there and beat Chaos Williams, who's actually proven to be a real savage with the touch of death style power. I don't think Fialho has it for him here. Pereira win by decision, and expect some crazy different techniques that you don't see anywhere else, because during the older days, Anthony Pettis was known as the crazy technique. Pereira takes it to a whole nother level. Front flips, crazy shit. Pereira's wild. He's going to get the win here, though, and he's going to beat Andre Fialho, who gets a big opportunity to fight Pereira. If he was able to win, that'd be huge for him. I don't see it happening. Pereira for the victory. Let's keep on running up the card. Next one, another fight I've talked about a fair amount. It's a rescheduled bout. It's Raoni Barcelos versus Victor Henry. Barcelos is going to win it here. It's a clear mismatch, though Henry has had more time to train for Barcelos. Maybe he's a bit more competitive than he would have been when it was the initial short notice replacement fight. Barcelos is super dangerous with his striking, a good Thai-esque style. Very strong on the floor, has nasty low kicks. He beat up the leg of Nurmagomedov, who's an absolute monster striking. Victor Henry, a pretty good stand-up fighter. Thai style. He's never been finished throughout his whole career. He's 21-5. Good amount of pro experience. He's a slick striker. He has an okay ground game, but he doesn't have enough to go out there and beat Raoni Barcelos. Barcelos for the win. I do expect him to do it by a decision here. Now, if you look at the lines for this one, Barcelos is a huge favorite. Minus 350. Best value about plus 350 range for Victor Henry on the opposite side. I think Barcelos goes out there, does his thing, probably does get this fight to the floor at some point and control from the top, lands nice strikes on the feet. Both guys also 34, about the same age, birthdays very close together. I got Barcelos for the win. It's a big step down, like in competition, at least speaking as far as like notoriety goes. Though Henry, 21-5, that's a decent record. He's got more experience than Barcelos, but he doesn't beat him here. Barcelos for the victory. And let's see, at nearly 35, how much longer does he have in this bantamweight division? Will he get an opportunity to climb into the rankings? We're going to find out. Barcelos for the win here, and I do expect decision for him. The next fight of the night. Some ladies going after it here. Jasmine Jasudavicius takes on Kay Hansen. Hansen jumping up from the 115-pound weight class. That is something to note. I'll be honest with you guys. I like Kay Hansen a lot, but size is a factor, and I have to pick Jasmine on the opposite side. I think the size is a big difference maker. 5'7" to 5'2", 68-inch reach to 63. Jasmine's also known for being real strong in the clinch. She has good forward pressure and takedowns. Kay Hansen on the opposite side, an aggressive striker, a good stand-up game, solid 1-2s, good forward pressure, and a good ground game in her own right, but the size disadvantage is real. deciding to jump a weight class, it could be the best thing for her, and she could come out there looking like an absolute strong woman and just throw around Jasmine. But I don't really expect that. I think Jasmine Jasudavicius goes out there, gets the win, puts some forward pressure on Hansen. It's competitive. It's scrappy. I do think it'll be a close fight nonetheless, but I think the underdog wins by a split decision here. You look at the lines, it's wide in favor of Hansen, and understandably so for her body of work down a weight class at 115. Minus 230 favorite, best value Hansen. Jasmine plus 215 underdog. I like the dog. I think at that plus 215 money, I think she's in it, and especially with the size difference, she's going to have advantages in the clinch, places where Hansen likes to take the fight. That's where Jasmine likes to be as well. I like Jasmine Jasudavicius gets the win. I do expect her to win decision, and I really am leaning split here. I think it's going to be a super competitive fight, and I'm excited to see how Hansen looks up a weight class, but I really feel as her best success will be at 115. She's undersized for this 125-pound weight class, and this is not an easy matchup. Jasmine for the victory here by upset. The next fight of the night, it's Tony Gravely versus Saimon Oliveira. Oliveira had a hell of a fight on the Contender Series. He now jumps in here and fights Tony Gravely, an experienced vet who just lost to Nate Maness, but had some moments in that fight, was able to hurt him. I got to go with Tony Gravely here. I think the power is a real difference maker. Oliveira has that traditional Muay Thai style of striking. It is good with the gloves, with the Thai style gloves. When you get into MMA and you fight very Muay Thai style, you have to block everything. You're not using as much head movement. When you have a guy like Gravely that hits really hard and is explosive as hell across from you, serious damage can be done. Also something to note, wrestling advantage. Tony Gravely doesn't always use it, but he does have it in his bag of tricks. Oliveira does have a nasty submission game, and if Gravely does go out there and get careless, he could get in trouble, especially shooting for a takedown, maybe with his neck out. He gets caught in some type of guillotine. I don't think that is super likely, though. I think he fights intelligently. He puts it on Oliveira. I think it's an entertaining fight. I think Tony Gravely wins by a unanimous decision and defeats Saimon Oliveira, the Contender Series winner. A lot of the guys from the Contender Series tend to lose their debut. Not all of them, but a good amount do. Looking at the odds for this matchup here, Gravely is a big favorite. About minus 230, best value. Oliveira plus 210. I like Tony Gravely for the win. He's a strong favorite. I do expect him to win an entertaining battle between Saimon and Oliveira. Decision. I do think we're going all 3 rounds. Oliveira will bring it. There's no quitting this guy. It's going to be a scrap, and it's a fight that I'm definitely looking forward to in the bantamweight division between 2 interesting guys, both 30 years old. I mean, if Oliveira is able to win, the record's fantastic, 18-3, maybe can work towards making a run, but I think he's going to get stopped by Tony Gravely here in his debut. Not stopped TKO'd, but stopped like on his attempt to climb up the rankings here early, because Gravely is a difficult first out for anybody inside of the UFC. Gravely for the win by a decision. The next fight of the night, Matt Frevola looks to bounce back from devastating first round 10 seconds, I think it was 8 seconds loss to Terrence McKinney. He takes on Genaro Valdéz, who had a war on the Contender Series, a fight where he was hurt badly, stunned, clipped with shots. He was very entertaining, but that style is not necessarily the most effective for competing at the highest level in mixed martial arts, especially taking on Matt Frevola in this spot. I think Matt Frevola wins. You look at Frivola's game, he's well-rounded. I mean, he has a pretty good striking skill set. Granted, he's been caught and knocked out a couple times. If he leaves the chin out there, he could be put down here. Solid wrestling, good level changes. He's pretty much good everywhere. I'd say he's a well-rounded guy. He's also pretty athletic, and I feel like bad losses, make people sleep on him a bit, but he's in this fight, and he also has more high-level experience, though Valdéz has the record, 10-0. And you look at Valdez's game, I mean, he's a pretty dangerous striker. He comes with a lot of forward pressure. He's down to mix it up. He's willing to get into a war, which could get him caught and get him in trouble here. Maybe that style works well for him, and Frevola tries to brawl back and ends up getting clipped and knocked out, which definitely could be a possibility. But I think Frevola's smarter than that. I think he comes in here with an intelligent game plan, looks to clinch up, looks to get Valdéz to the ground, looks to be more technical, more of a patient attack. And I do think Matt Frevola wins by a a decision potentially or submission. Kind of torn between the two because I'm curious how crazy Valdéz is going to go out there. If Valdéz rushes and makes it a scrap early, I see him gassing, I see Frevola getting it to the ground, and I see Frevola winning by a submission. So I'm going to say submission, potential decision as well, but Frevola getting his hand raised in this fight. Now, looking at the lines for this one, Frevola sitting at what value here? Let's find it. Let's jump to best fight odds to find it. Minus 190 to plus 190. I like Frevola, the fairly moderate favorite here to beat Genaro Valdéz, potentially by a submission as well. Should be an entertaining fight. The style of Valdéz is very fun to watch. He's going to bring it. I think Frevola will as well, but Frevola will use the higher fight IQ in this matchup and win this bout. Frevola for the victory, and I will say late submission in this matchup. Let's keep on moving. The next fight of the night. It is between Michael Morales and Trevin Giles. This is a very intriguing matchup. At 22 years old, Michael Morales has a dangerous skill set. Trevin Giles, a good vet. It's at 170. Giles is dropping a weight class. Does that concern me a bit? It definitely does. I don't know how he's going to look here at 170. Potentially could see him fading and getting a bit tired. He's a very explosive and athletic guy. I like Michael Morales for the win. I'm picking him here. With Morales, you have a very talented kickboxer who's super rangy. He's got a 79-inch reach. He looks a lot more mature than a guy that's 22 years of age. He fights at a much higher level than somebody at 22. He's good in the clinch, has decent takedowns and top control. There's so much to like about this kid. Also, very solid gas tank. Trevin Giles at middleweight is nasty, and he is a very relaxed striker. The hands are low. He'll throw unorthodox attacks. He claims to have the best jab in the UFC. I don't agree with that sentiment, but I got to respect the man for his claim, and it shows he's working that jab, which is a very effective punch. Also, very solid kick. You see the hands are low. I think Morales takes advantage of that, finds openings, lands clean strikes, potentially even gets some top positional time. I think Michael Morales wins by a unanimous decision, and I think he moves to 13-0, beating Trevin Giles in what should be a pretty fun fight. Looking at the odds for this one, Morales a favorite, minus 130, plus 120 for Giles as the underdog. I like Morales for the win. I like this 22-year-old kid. I think he is a very, very bright prospect and somebody to watch. 12-0, fantastic record. He really looks mature beyond the age of 22, and I'm excited to see how he looks against Giles, who is a legit test. And I'm also curious, how is Giles going to be now at 170 here? I'm picking Morales for the win, and I do expect him to do so by a unanimous decision. Now, the next fight of the night will jump us to the main card. So if you guys have not yet, smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and turn those post notifications on. This is a very fun one. Cody Stamann fights Said Nurmagomedov. I love the fight. I'm picking Nurmagomedov to win. His striking is special. He's so light on his feet. He moves extraordinarily well. He has all different kicks in the arsenal, similar to Zabit Magomedsharipov. That's the style of striking you're going to get with Said. Even though he's a Nurmagomedov, he's not a pressure grappler just looking to retain top position. Now, is he bad on the ground? Absolutely not. And he needs to be good on the ground here because Cody Stamann on the opposite side is a hell of a wrestler. He's got great forward pressure. He's willing to mix it up striking. He's got a pretty good jab cross. He fights well on the inside. He likes to make fights scraps. He likes to make them dirty. And I feel like Said Nurmagomedov, also with height and reach advantages, is going to use that, especially with the kicks. Expect a lot of kicks here. Expect him to be wary of the takedown. I think he will. He'll read the shots and the potential attempts of Stamann well. I think from distance, it's going to be Said Nurmagomedov picking Stamann apart. Though I could see Stamann having some moments. I could even see him landing some takedowns. I have Nurmagomedov with an impressive decision win. He lost to Barcelos in the UFC, but other than that, he's been good. And in the last one, quick win over Mark Striegel, who was 18-2. You look at Stamann's last two. He dropped the loss to Jimmy Rivera, who's now not even in the UFC, but still a very high-level bantamweight. And then he also lost to Merab Divashvili, who's top-rated. This is a supreme test for Said Nurmagomedov, and it seriously jumps him up the rankings if he wins. He's getting close towards the upper echelon if you beat a guy like Cody Stamann. Said for the win via decision. Looking at the odds, Said is about minus 185, about plus 170 on the opposite side for Cody Stamann. I like Said Nurmagomedov, and I do expect striking clinic here, win by a unanimous decision. I'm very excited to see this Nurmagomedov, the striker Nurmagomedov. Let's keep on running up the card. The next fight of the night, Rodolfo Vieira and Wellington Turman. This is such an intriguing matchup because Vieira is a jiu-jitsu ace. He's the next level of grappling. He is championship level grappling. Wellington Turman's dangerous on the floor as well. Both guys, something to note, 100% takedown defense in the UFC. Vieira has shown improved striking and stamina. He puts a good pressure on his opponents. He has good 1-2s, training with, I believe, a karate coach now as his head coach. And the stand-up game has definitely gotten better. On the floor, he's elite level. We know this. On the opposite side, Wellington Turman is a dangerous and athletic striker. He's pretty good with his kickboxing. He puts nice pressure on his opponents. He mixes it up well, has been caught and knocked out in the past. But styles make fights. And if Turman can stay on his feet, if he can keep a high volume pace, slowly gas Vieira out, I could see Wellington Turman winning here. And I'll be honest with you, I'm going to pick Turman to win. I have the underdog, Wellington Turman, winning by a decision over Rodolfo, the black belt hunter Vieira here. The odds for it obviously are going to be favoring the jiu-jitsu champion, minus 250 for Vieira, plus 225 for Turman. I do believe Wellington Turman stylistically matches up well here. I don't see a significant striking threat by Vieira. On the floor, I see the takedown defense of Turman being there. I could see Vieira getting tired, maybe even Turman finishing him late, potentially by a TKO. Could you imagine if he's able to submit Vieira? That would be pretty nuts. Even though, Vieira has been submitted once against Fluffy Hernandez. He gassed in that fight. Turman's takedown defense is better. He's a harder guy to deal with on the floor, and his striking absolute decent too. I'm gonna say pretty good. It's pretty good. The striking of Turman's pretty good. Though he's been caught and knocked out, he's not a bad stand-up fighter, and he's only 25, so he's getting better and better each and every time. I have Wellington Turman win, upset, and I'm thinking decision, but could potentially see finish inside the distance late of a tired Rodolfo Vieira as well. Let's get to the next one, which is listed now as the featured bout of the night. This is a great late notice fight for Charles Jourdain. The opportunity is huge here. It's Ilia Topuria, Charles Jourdain. It's a super good featherweight matchup. I'm picking Topuria for the win. It's extremely hard to pick against him. The lines 100% agree. He's a disgustingly wide favorite. Topuria is a serious featherweight prospect. He is championship level on the floor. He's dangerous with his striking, has real knockout power, and he's super explosive. You look at the way he beat down Ryan Hall. Nobody has ever done that to Ryan Hall. He stopped all the leg lock attempts, all the awkward rolls, and then Topuria ground and pound finishes him in the first round. He's a knockout artist. He's putting people to sleep. On the opposite side, Charles Jourdain is a dangerous striker who's super explosive. Nasty hooks, heavy low kicks, great pressure, high volume. He has good stamina as well. I feel like Topuria is going to have a showcase here, though. I think Topuria probably looks to use some of the grappling tools here as Charles Jourdain opens up, maybe starts getting a bit too confident on the feet. Topuria then looks to time the takedown, gets on top. I'm predicting Topuria win by submission in the second round. I see him beating Charles Jourdain, but I wouldn't be shocked if Topuria chose to strike and he ends up knocking Charles Jourdain out also. Looking at the lines here, though, it's essentially unplayable. Minus 450 Topuria, plus 425 for Charles Jourdain. It's a Topuria fight here. Short notice, got to respect Jourdain. He just recently fought against Andre Ewell. I expect him to be in good shape and give his best effort. It won't be enough here. I have to go with the most serious prospect in this featherweight division right now, Ilia Topuria, for the win, and I'm predicting submission in the second round. Another showcase fight for him. Keep your eye on Ilia Topuria moving forward. Let's jump to the co-main event. Championship co-main event. Trilogy. It is Brandon Moreno, Davison Figueiredo 3. Their first one, a draw. The second one, Moreno runs over Figueiredo. How will this third one go? Well, first thing to note, Figueiredo's been training with Cejudo, who is next level with wrestling, knows Brandon Moreno. But Brandon Moreno is special. I think Brandon Moreno wins this trilogy. He has evolved his game so much. Fantastic jab. A jab that dropped Davison Figueiredo in the first fight. That jab's on point. He's going to be throwing it a lot here. Great wrestling base. When he gets on top, dangerous. If he gets your back, it's hell. Deiveson Figueiredo is a machine. He has the legit one-punch KO power that is rarely seen in the flyweight division. He also chains submissions extremely well. If he has you hurt, he will go for the kill. His wrestling base is good also, especially now training with Cejudo. I expect him to be even better than he once was. But Brandon Moreno, I believe, has found himself at a different level. I think the volume will be too much. The pace will be too high. Figueiredo known for getting tired. I see Moreno putting a high pace on him. I see him potentially stunning him, especially with that dynamite jab, the jab that blinds you. Figueiredo will have a hard time landing his big power strikes. Also something to note, size advantage towards Moreno, 5'7", 5'5", 70-inch reach, 68. I see Moreno landing the better strikes. I see Moreno getting top position on the floor. I think Figueiredo will perform better than their second fight, but not at the level of their first. Brandon Moreno, I expect him to win, and I'm picking him by submission in the 4th round, and I think it's another rear naked choke. It's a fight I can't wait for. These two are going to give us an absolute barn burner without a doubt. Flyweight division is absolutely on fire here in 2022. Looking at the odds, Figueiredo a plus 155 underdog, Moreno about a minus 165 favorite. I like the favorite, Moreno. I do like him to get the finish. I am leaning submission. The stamina's off the charts. And if you can go, you're going to gas a guy like Figueiredo out. Figueiredo's best chance to win, he hurts Moreno early and then he locks something up. If you're looking at fight going long here, I see Moreno gassing Figueiredo out with just too high of a pace. On short notice, Moreno's going distance here and he's not getting tired. Now with this full training camp, having obviously already beaten Figueiredo before, the confidence is going to be at an all-time high. Brandon Moreno for the win, submission, round 4. He defends his belt, and he closes out the trilogy with Deiveson Figueiredo. Great co-main event, and I cannot wait for these flyweights to go at it. It's a true turning of the hand towards now the champion, Brandon Moreno, and we'll see who's potentially next. Maybe the Kai Kara-France Askar winner, sometime later in 2022. I got Moreno for the win. Let's keep on running up. The main event of the evening, we've already arrived at it. Make sure to smash that like button, guys. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and turn the post notifications on. Francis Ngannou and Ciryl Gane is the greatest heavyweight fight ever, especially modern heavyweight fights. This is insane. This is the fight mixed martial arts needs for a heavyweight division. I wish they would market it even more because this should be the biggest fight on the planet right now. The heaviest hitter in heavyweight history versus the most technically sound striker in heavyweight division ever. The fastest striker too. Ciryl Gane moves like nobody else. He's so special. That being said, I'm picking Francis Ngannou. I expect him to land the touch of death and knock Ciryl Gane out. There's so much to like with Gane. I'm a huge Gane fan. I'm actually a huge fan of both these guys. It's hard to pick between the two, but the power of Francis is so real and proven. You look that it's just one shot, and you look at Gane, the chin's a bit high. He works beautiful striking from range. He doesn't get hit much, but Ngannou just needs one punch. I don't see Ciryl Gane being able to knock Ngannou out early. If Gane is to win this fight, it's peppering attack, it's slowly wearing on Ngannou, getting Ngannou tired, and working towards maybe a late TKO in the 3rd or 4th round. But I think Ngannou will be patient here. He knows the style of Gane. These guys have sparred together. They've trained in the same gym. Now there's the beef between Ngannou and Gane. Really, it's Ngannou and Gane's coach, the former coach of Francis Ngannou. I feel like if Ngannou is on point, if he takes his time, he's patient, he uses those sick boxing combinations, very dangerous looping hooks, and he sets it up with the jab, I'm telling you, he could hurt Ciryl Gane. Gane is confident out of both stances, but as is this new breed Ngannou that we saw against Stipe Miocic. There's things to worry about. Gane has great teeps. He has great side kicks. He'll throw that knee stomp side kick and then he'll close distance and come in. He'll work a peppering jab, and he keeps that jab hand up high and makes it difficult to explode in range. Francis Ngannou is different though. He'll also be confident with the boxing. He'll work a nice jab. I think he'll find a way inside. I think he'll find a way to the chin. I think Francis Ngannou sleeps Ciryl Gane in the 2nd round. It's the two best heavyweights maybe to ever have done it because these guys are off the charts good. I can't wait to see it. Strikers delight matchup. It's going to be an amazing fight. The odds have Francis Ngannou, the world champion, as a dog. Best value about the plus 140 range for Ngannou. Ciryl Gane, the minus 125 favorite. We haven't seen enough of Gane to know how will he deal with adversity. He hasn't been stunned in mixed martial arts. And Ngannou has been hit with huge shots, and he hasn't gone down. He's shown an iron chin. I think he'll take what Gane gives him. I think Gane will definitely have moments, but Ngannou will find that touch of death strike, and he will knock Ciryl Gane out. Francis Ngannou, and still champion. I don't know what he's going to do next. He said, I'm not accepting $500,000, $600,000 paychecks. He said, I want big money fights only from here out, and I want to box. Him and Tyson Fury have already gone back and forth. If Ngannou can win, and the UFC maybe can negotiate a deal to let Ngannou do that boxing match, you have super fights on the horizon coming. John Jones also making the jump back to the heavyweight division. Lots of things to be excited for. Overall, the first pay-per-view of 2022 is going to be a damn good one. Much love to everybody who tunes into the show. Smash that like button, guys. If you're new, subscribe and turn those post notifications on. Got tons of content dropping all week long. Tuesday, we have the late night live where we'll go through the full card live. We'll throw the polls in there. Wednesday, this week's best MMA bets. Thursday, the Moneyline podcast with myself and Mike Finch. Friday, weigh-in recap show. And Saturday, of course, we have the Fight Companion. Great week. Can't wait for it all. Much love, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace, guys.